In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a mesh in SolidWorks when it comes to the FEA, finite element analysis, static analysis, so you can get accurate results. So we're going to cover standard mesh, curvature-based mesh, and then also mesh control. Now, if you want a full course on the static analysis, finite element analysis, you can check out on the link below. So let's get started. The way we create a mesh, we just go here to the left side, and we here have a mesh. So you can go right-click and just go create mesh. So the first thing that we have here, we have mesh density, right? Whether we want to go with smaller elements, they're more fine, right? So, or we want to go with bigger elements. So this way we can control our mesh density. We can also click here mesh parameters. And we have three types of the mesh: blended curvature-based mesh, then we have curvature-based mesh and standard mesh. We're going to cover standard mesh and curvature-based mesh. So if you click on the standard mesh, we have two parameters here: global size of element, and then we have here tolerance. Now, tolerance, this is 5% of the global size of the element. So if the distance between two neighboring nodes is smaller than this tolerance, then they are merged. And the upper limit of the tolerance is 30%. Now you can see if I increase here the density, we're going to have smaller elements, right? Of course, the density is higher. If I decrease the density, then we have bigger elements. And as I said in the previous lecture, if we have more elements, that's going to take longer time to run the simulation, to calculate, but we're going to have better results, right? Because we have more equations, and the elements that are in curvature areas will be less distorted. So to get the best results, we have to balance between the shape of the elements, and we have to balance between the time for calculation, right? So we have to play then with size of the elements. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go here with the reset, just leave everything as it is, and standard mesh. Let's click OK. And now you can see our mesh, right? So this is how we divided now our model into simple small elements. Now let's check all these elements. Now what do we want to have? We want to have the same angle here and the same size of all three sides. That's the goal. Here we don't have, for example, right? And also if we go here to these edges, you can see here, this is very flattened. That means that this element is very distorted, and probably here we won't get the most accurate results. Now, if we go here to the left side, now we have here a new folder, mesh quality plot and quality 1. You can double click on this. And then we can go here with aspect ratio and Jacobian ratio. Now, what is the aspect ratio and Jacobian ratio? These are the measurement for the element quality. Now, what are we going to use here? We're going to use aspect ratio. Jacobian ratio is just a numerical value of the element distortion. We're going to use aspect ratio to measure the quality of the element. Now, the aspect ratio is a ratio between longest normal to the shortest normal in the element. Or in simple words, this is the ratio between two lines in the element. For example, you can see this is the almost good side of the element. Ratio between this and this is almost 1. And this is what we want. We want the aspect ratio closest to 1. But if aspect ratio in practice is below 5, this is acceptable. If it's below 3, this is very good. 1 is perfect. If it's between 5 and 10, this is okay, right? It's acceptable. But above 10, this is not good. So what we want to do, we're going to shoot below 5, our aspect ratio. So let's see our aspect ratio here. Let's click OK. Let's go right click here. And let's go here with the chart options. And let's go here, show minimum and show maximum. Okay, let's click OK. And as you can see, we have aspect ratio here, 9.5, and the minimum here is 1.05. So as we said, we want to go below 5. So this is too much for us. And as we expected, the aspect ratio here is the highest. Why? Because look at the ratio between the longest and the shortest. So it's higher aspect ratio. And if we leave like this, then we're going to get less accurate results because we have distorted element, right? So that means what? That means that here we want to go with smaller elements, right? Because we have the smaller elements, then it's less distortion. But also that's going to increase the time for calculation. So we have to play with both these sides. Now let's go here to the mesh again, create a mesh. Let's go here with 2.4, this global size of the element. So we're going to go with smaller elements, okay? Let's click OK. Let's create a mesh again. So now we're going to have smaller elements, as you can see. Now the elements are much smaller. And now you can see the maximum aspect ratio is 5.559, right? Now this is very close to our desired value. And here is the minimum. And we can see, okay, let me see where we have the maximum aspect ratio. Now we have the maximum aspect ratio here. As you can see how this one here is distorted, right? These elements here. And the minimum aspect ratio is here. But also what we have to pay attention that our maximum stress will be here, here, and here, right? Because this is gonna bend down below. And if we have here the maximum stress, we want to have the highest precision here. That means that we're going to have to add here smaller elements. That will be the best thing, right? So this is not much better, but what is the problem now? So for example, let's go here to the mesh, and let's go here to the details. Now look at this. So what we have here, we have some parameters, we have the element size, we have here total nodes, 86,000, maximum aspect ratio 5.6. And we have 3 seconds for the calculation, right? So this is a lot of total nodes because like if I go here to the mesh again, create a mesh, and I go with reset here with bigger elements, let's calculate again. You see now we have aspect ratio again 9.5 as we had before. Let's go here, right click to the details. Look at now. Now we have total nodes 12,000 and before we have 86,000. So you can see the difference here, right? How much more time it takes to calculate, to run the simulation, right? And we have 2 seconds. Now this is very small model and these 3 seconds, 2 seconds doesn't make much difference. But when you have a big model, this can be, very big difference for the time and the memory, right? Now, as you can see, we have a lot of elements, we increase the time, but aspect ratio is better. That means results will be more accurate. Okay, let's close this and let's go here to the mesh. Let's go here, create a mesh. And let's go here with automatic transition on. Now, what is automatic transition? This means that we're going to have smaller elements in areas where we have small features. Like, for example, if we have maybe some extrusions, if we have some fillets, chamfers. So where we have small features, we're going to have smaller elements. We're going to have more automatic transition from the bigger elements to the smallest elements. So let's calculate again. Now if we go here to the mesh details, now we have 15,000, which is much less, but we have still big aspect ratio, right? Simulation time is very low, which is good, but the aspect ratio is big because here we have, as you can see, the biggest aspect ratio. So this is just how you can create a standard mesh. So we want to find the good balance between total number of nodes, low as possible, and then also we want to have small aspect ratio below 5. Now we don't have a lot of nodes, which is good, but the aspect ratio is very high. Now in the next lecture, we're going to run curvature-based mesh. Now in the previous lecture, we talked about how to create a standard mesh. Now in this lecture, we're going to talk about how to create a curvature-based mesh. Now what is the curvature-based mesh? So curvature-based mesh recognizes curvatures on the model and increases mesh locally on these regions. Now, you may wonder, okay, what is the difference between if we turn out automatic transition in standard mesh and curvature-based mesh? Well, if we turn automatic transition on standard mesh, what's going to happen? We're going to have smaller elements on all small features, but only small features. I'm emphasizing word here small. Now, when we have curvature-based mesh, we have smaller elements on the curvatures. Doesn't matter if curvature is small or big, okay? So if we go here to the mesh, and we go here, create a mesh, and now instead of standard mesh, we're going to use curvature-based mesh. And we're going to go here with the element size. This is the minimum element size, smallest as possible. We're going to leave the maximum element size as it is. And we're going to go here with minimum number of elements per circle. We're going to go here to 36, okay? 36, this the minimum size of elements to the minimum, and let's click OK. And now as you can see, look at this, where we have curvatures like here, the elements are smaller, right, than here. And also if we go, for example, if we go here, as you can see to the curvatures, elements are much smaller, right? So that means that in these parts where we have a curvature, we're going to get better results. And the elements won't be so distorted. So the question here is only, okay, how much nodes do we have? And also how much time does it take, right? So we can go here to the mesh, right click. Let's go to the details. And we can see that we have 90,000 nodes. This is too much. And we have maximum aspect ratio, almost 12. And the simulation time is 5 seconds. So like, this is not a good result, right? Let's go here to the mesh, right click, create mesh quality plot. Let's go here with aspect ratio. Like this. Now we can see this. Let's go here, right click, chart options. Let's go with maximum and minimum. As you can see, the maximum aspect ratio again is here on these edges, right? And the minimum is here. Let me see where that is. Okay, it's here, right? Here is the most perfect element, almost perfect. And here we have like 11.7, right? So it's not good. So here we have the minimum aspect ratio on this edge, and here we have the maximum aspect ratio. So as you can see, if we use curvature-based mesh, we didn't get the best result because we have a lot of elements, but also the aspect ratio is very high. So the quality will be not good. Now, since we know that the highest stresses will be here and here, and that we have here the maximum aspect ratio, we want to only create small elements on these places, right? Not on all curvatures. And this is what we're going to show in the next lecture. And then we're going to try to get to the perfect balance between number of the elements and the shape of the elements. So as we saw in the previous two lectures, when you use standard mesh, curvature-based mesh, we didn't get the mesh quality as we wanted, right? Based on the aspect ratio and the total of nodes. So in this lecture, we're going to go with the apply mesh control. And this is going to allow us to create small elements only in the areas where we personally want, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to just go here, right click, add a definition, and I'm going to choose here mesh, okay, like this. Now, the second thing that I'm going to do, we're going to go here to the mesh. We're going to go here, right click, and we're going to go here to the apply mesh control. And then what we can do here, we can select the faces, edges, vertices, reference points, components for mesh control, okay? So we're going to go and we're going to select this edge, okay? Because this is where we predict the highest stress, but also we know that our aspect ratio is here the highest, here and here, right? So basically what do we tell now? We say, please create small elements here, here, and here, right? Not on every curvature, not on every small feature, like we had before, right? And we're going to go here with 1.4, the size of the element. And now we're going to click OK. And now as you can see, here we have mesh controls, right? Control 1. This is what we added. Now let's go to the mesh, right click, create a mesh. And we're going to go here with standard mesh. We're going to leave everything as it is. We're going to turn off automatic transition and we're going to click OK. And as you can see, here we have normal elements everywhere except here. Look at this, small elements, right? On this area. Now let's see the results. Let's see the quality of the mesh and aspect ratio, right? And total of nodes. So let's go right click. Let's go details. So we have 19,000, which is good. And we have aspect ratio 5.0, which is, let's say, acceptable, right? But you can see we don't have any more 80,000, 90,000 nodes. We have below 20,000, which is good. And the aspect ratio is also very good. Now let's see where is still the biggest aspect ratio. We can see that the biggest aspect ratio is here, right? You can see how this is distorted. Now, if you want, we can also add on this edge mesh control and we can see how the results will change. Okay, so basically what we can do, we can go here to the control, right click, add a definition. And we can say also, please include this edge and this edge here, like this. Let's click OK. And let's go again to the mesh, right click, create a mesh. Let's click OK. Now let's go here and let's check out the details. Now we have 20,000, so the number of elements didn't increase too much, but aspect ratio now is below 5. So this is what we are looking for. We wanted to get to the point where we have aspect ratio below 5, and also that we don't have a lot of total nodes, because now then simulation time will take long, but also our mesh quality is very good. Now you can play and you can also add, for example, this edge, and you can see how much will total nodes increase, but also then you can check out how much will aspect ratio fall down. But this is something that's totally acceptable for us. And now we know that we're going to get pretty decent results with our simulation when it comes to the stress, strain, and displacement. And this is what we're going to do in the next lecture. We're going to start running the simulation. And this is how you create a mesh in SolidWorks that gives you accurate results. Now, if you want a full course, how to run static analysis in SolidWorks, you can check out on the link below. See you in another video.